Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Students, today we are looking at an IELTS reading section, and the topic will be tigers, or better put, varieties of tigers. This reading passage is coming from our exam books. Here you see this beautiful tiger looking like it's yawning, waking up in the morning. The title is Animals of Different Stripes. Those of you who are signed up for our premium IELTS package here at aehelp.com, you will find this reading passage in the exam materials in test 2. Those of you who are not yet members, if you'd like to become a member, join by clicking this big red button just off to my left there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Costs about 30 to 50 bucks US. We are an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. We've been helping thousands of students improve their English and pass IELTS for almost 2 decades. General IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com, green background. Again, just click that big red button. Welcome to our channel members. Hi, Anna. Good to see you. Good to see Carolina, our moderator. Welcome, students. Ariadna, Muksamadali, Fatime, Khiti, Morningstar. Good to have all of you with me here today. All right, students. So again, join us at aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. You can use the code REACH9 for an extra 10% discount. Lewis, nice to see you again. All right. And of course, get our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help, from your app stores. Link those to the websites for further learning. Instagram is IELTS_AEHelp and GIELTS Help. And if you want to see what premium students live classes look like, check out this link here. All right. So if you have questions that don't get answered in this class about reading or the IELTS or about our materials, just reach out to me. Adrian at aehelp.com or admin at aehelp.com. Now for the schedule, and then we'll get right into the reading. So the schedule for November 12th to December 3rd, everybody, take note. So we had our daylight savings last week, so our class times are shifted a little bit. 14:30 to 15:30 is the usual class time. Tuesday to Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday on YouTube, and then Thursday, Friday via Zoom for the premium students. Okay. There's no class Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So no class 16th to the 18th. Then we'll have 3 classes the week after, 19th to the 21st. I'm on vacation from the 22nd until December 2nd. So please take note of that. Okay, there's going to be a little bit of a 1-week vacation there for me. I'll be doing a little bit of travels. And then back on the 3rd with more listening. Okay, so I'll post more of that schedule in the coming days. But just keep that in mind. So this week, regular week, and then next week it's 3 classes, and the week after that there's no classes. Okay, and then it's back to regular classes. So for those of you who are here consistently, which is of course the key to good learning, just make sure to note that schedule. All right, check out this speaking video. It's a good one. We just posted this a week ago. And it is excellent. There you go. All right. So let's get into reading. First step in reading, everybody, in good reading is to visualize, which means to see the information as you read it. Now, here is our reading passage again. It's animals of different stripes, and we have this beautiful tiger here. Visualize. To make it interesting, to engage the material and get your brain really focused on it. If you see a picture like this on the IELTS exam, you might want to think, hey, maybe I'm doing a show in a circus or something, and I'm going to put my head into the lion's mouth here. Probably not a good idea to hold on to its nose, but grab its little chin there. And that's what I'm doing. Scary, but hey, the brain's turned on, it's working, and it's thinking about tigers. They're dangerous animals, they're carnivorous. They've got these beautiful big teeth. They're called canines. All right. And once you visualized and you're looking at this and you're thinking about, you know, like, what could this be about? Why are they discussing it? How is it going to be written? Think about those, the what, why, how, right? And so what is this? It's tigers, right? What are tigers? Tigers belong to the cat family, the feline family. They're large. They're one of the larger felines. They live in mostly various parts of Asia, in some parts of northern Russia, Siberia. So we're thinking about their habitats, their habits. They're hunters. They eat other animals. They're meat eaters. Okay. Why are we reading about tigers? Well, because they are, first of all, beautiful animals. Secondly, they've been hunted a lot, so there's not a lot of them. There's maybe a few thousand left for most tiger species. They're popular in zoos, and you should be thinking about all this information before you begin reading. The more information that you can kind of think about in your head before you read, the easier it will be to read the passage and to answer the questions. Okay? So once you've thought about tigers and what they are and why we're interested in them and how we would write about them, describing their habits, their habitats. Yeah, Anna, you should absolutely visualize yourself in the reading passage. You should visualize yourself as like a zoologist. Zoologist is a person who studies animals, by the way, everybody. It's called a zoologist. Okay. A person, or a scientist, I should say, who studies animals. It's called a zoologist. Easy to remember because it's got the word zoo in there, right? Zoo. It's a zoologist. Okay. So maybe you're a zoologist. You're studying tigers. And you want to make yourself interested in the passage. Absolutely. Then you can look at the questions just to see what kind of information is in this passage. So when you look at the questions, make sure to read them. So questions 14 to 18. Classify the following facts as applying to. So students, here, this is a reading, so make sure you read. Don't just listen to me. Then it turns into more just a listening exercise. So read with me. And if you can, read aloud. So read like me so you can hear yourself. Okay, so read aloud. Read with me. Okay. All right. So once again, classify the following facts as applying to A, Bengal tigers, B, Siberian tigers. Okay, so right away I know that here there are going to be two types of tigers, Bengal and Siberian, and there will be some facts about these two types of tigers. So immediately I've got two tigers here that I'm thinking about. Okay, that looks kind of like a cat, but hey, you know what? Tigers are kind of a cat-like family anyway. So there's my little tiger. Let's give it a long tail. And there's two types. Okay, so immediately I visualize these two types, the Bengal and the Siberian. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. And then read the questions. Lives further from the equator, so a greater distance from the line that separates the world or cuts it in half. So when we have the world here, that line that goes through the middle, that's called the equator. Okay. Has a significantly higher population, so there are more numbers of one type. It's a lot more, significantly higher population. So a lot more numbers of either the Bengal or the Siberian, one of them. Exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. Okay, so it might be fat or skinny, depending on where it lives. One of them. Grows no additional fur during different seasons, so doesn't grow long body hair in summer, winter times, okay, or shorter. Now, what I'm doing here, students, is I'm paraphrasing. So as I'm looking at all of these questions, and in the real IELTS, you need to do this in your head. At home, you need to do this on paper. You need to paraphrase. Paraphrase means write down the same idea using different words. Okay? The reason why is in the reading, you're always going to see it differently. So what you see in the questions is not what you see in the reading passage, right? So you want to think about different ways. Okay, lives in a climate with large temperature fluctuations. Okay, so lives in a place where there's a lot of different weather, hot weather, cold weather. Okay, temperature fluctuations, so hotter weather, cooler weather. All right. Again, students, make sure that when you're at home, you write this down. So lives further from the equator, a greater distance from the center meridian of the earth. Center meridian, there we go. Center meridian. Center meridian means that center line. That center line is the equator. Might be a new word for some. When you see new words, students, write them down. Okay. Of course, in the IELTS, you just have to figure that out from context. Has a significantly higher population, so a more number of one type of tiger. Okay, so write them down just like that. All right, now next set of questions. This is one that's usually challenging for a lot of students. Do the following statements agree with the claims of the writer in reading passage 1? So this is based on fact. So basically, is this a fact that's given in the passage? Is it a false fact? So the passage says a different idea, or not given, meaning that the passage does not give an explanation for that fact. Okay. This type of question in the real exam, it's not good to read it before you're reading. You just don't know what's true, what's not true, what's not given. So just skip that one. And then we have some short answer here, or complete the sentence completion. There's 11 types of questions that you can see in the IELTS reading. And again, students, if you go to your My Student account at aehelp.com, for those of you, again, who aren't yet students, you can join with that big button. In your My Student account, in your full online academic course, in the reading section, it will take you through the different types of questions that are possible in the reading section. So there are 11 types, generally speaking, questions in the reading section, and the course will teach you all 11, and it will teach you which ones you should be reading before the passage, because they contain information that's in the passage, and it will teach you which ones you should not be reading before the passage that are basically not in the text. Okay, so make sure to go through the course. For those of you who have not done so yet, it will definitely help you. We'll come back here and do the reading together in just a moment. All right. Let's look at the rest of these questions. So here again in our reading passage, it's complete each sentence with the information from the passage. So basically we're looking for the correct word from the passage to complete these sentences. Write the answers in boxes 24 to 26, no more than 2 words. Always pay attention to that. 24. Humans are not a part of the tiger's regular something. Could be hunting, could be food. While not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to something humans: attacking, hurting, licking, I don't know. Especially if they are unable to process the flesh of other animals. Ooh, might be something with eating. 26. Attack by Bengals are often committed in defense of the tiger's something. All right. Okay. Now you can start to kind of get some ideas of what the answers might be, but don't commit yourself to the answer until you read the passage. So let's do that now. Let's read the passage. Now this is like a magazine style. So basically you've got columns like this. So this is going to go down and we're going to read like this. And then when we get to the bottom of the page, we come back here and we read like this and then go to the next page, just like a magazine. All right, let's do this, everybody. So we're going to read this together with one of our readers in the course. Okay, so we're going to hop back here to the course and go to our audio materials. And then this should be test 2, I believe. It always says at the top. Yep, CD2 track 6. So that's what we'll go. Here we go, everybody. Let's get ready to read together. And again, focus on visualizing. So while you're reading, imagine that you're there. Imagine you're the zoologist gathering all of this data and information.
The Siberian and Bengal tigers. The Siberian and Bengal tigers are 2 of the most well-known types of tigers. These tigers are very similar. In fact, they come from the same species, but they do have some important differences. These similarities and differences, while interesting to note, are vital pieces of information for the people in charge of the conservation of endangered species of tigers. Wildlife conservationists have to tell the difference between the 2 in order to keep accurate accounts of the respective populations. The first main difference between the 2 tigers is the location of their habitats. The Siberian tiger today lives only in the far northeast part of Russia, called Siberia, although it used to live as far west as Western Asia and as far east as parts of Alaska. One of the main reasons Siberian tigers do not live in China anymore is due to widespread illegal hunting there in the past. Bengal tigers live in a warmer, more southern climate. They reside mostly in India, but also in Bangladesh, Nepal and Bhutan. Bengal tigers are the most numerous of all tigers, with approximately 1,800 living in the wild worldwide. Siberian tigers, conversely, number only about 200 to 300 in their natural habitats. Both tigers are extremely popular zoo exhibits, which further contributes to the low numbers of both, especially the Siberian tiger. There have been efforts to breed Siberian tigers in captivity, and many of these efforts have been successful. However, the offspring are unfit to live in the wild. At the very least, these efforts allow zoos to maintain their exhibits without taking even more tigers out of the wild population. Siberian tigers on average are larger than Bengals. The average weight of a Bengal male is about 220 kilograms, while the weight of a Siberian averages slightly heavier. Amazingly, Siberian tigers can be as large as 320 kilograms. The lengths of these animals are also different. On average, male Siberian tigers have a nose-to-tail length of 3 meters, while the Bengal's length is slightly shorter. Their tail lengths, interestingly, are the same, averaging around 1 meter. One notable observation is that the farther north in the Bengal tiger's habitat, the larger the animals get. The average weight of a tiger in northern India is about 15 kilograms more than ones in southern India, where the average recorded weight is 220 kilograms. Another clear difference between the two tigers is the seasonal growth of a winter coat for the Siberian tiger. Since they live in northern Russia, which is an unforgiving climate in the winter, the ability to endure temperatures well below freezing is essential for survival. Unlike the Bengal tiger, which lives in more equatorial climates around India, where the temperatures are more or less the same year-round, the Siberian lives in a climate where the temperature can vary more than 50 degrees Celsius. Because of this, Siberians grow longer fur in the winter. For example, the fur on the Siberian's back in the summer measures about 16 millimeters, while in winter this length almost triples. The Bengal tiger has no need for such a long winter coat. The two tigers share many similarities, including diet and reproduction. Being carnivorous, other animals are the food supply for both. The types of animals hunted are various due to the different regions that are home to these tigers. Bengals eat animals such as wild boar, water buffalo, and chital, while Siberian tigers eat primarily wild boar, deer, and moose. Bengals and Siberians have very similar reproductive cycles. Both tigers reach maturity around 4 years of age, at which time they begin their mating rituals. The females are pregnant for about 15 weeks and give birth to between 1 and 4 cubs. Each of these cubs weighs about a kilogram and will be entirely dependent on their mother for the first 6 months of life. After that time, they begin their learning process, where they develop the skills they need to hunt and kill for survival. After 2 or 3 years, the cubs are ready to leave their mother and hunt independently. And at the age of 4 or 5, they reach sexual maturity, and so the cycle continues. One last difference between the two tigers is a significant one, especially for humans. Neither tiger hunts humans as part of their normal diet, but one of the two tigers is known to be a man-eater. The Bengal tiger, under the right circumstances, will eat humans. Bengals will attack humans in 2 cases. First, they will attack humans who interfere with the Bengal's hunting or feeding. Bengal mothers do not take kindly to people when they are feeding their cubs. Also, older Bengals will kill humans for food, because humans are easy to eat, unlike wild boar, for example. Human skin is soft and fleshy, perfect for an old tiger with weak muscles and worn-down teeth. Siberians, however, will generally not attack humans unless they feel threatened. As such, records show that Bengal attacks are far more common than Siberian attacks.
All right.
Supernovae.
Let's stop that before we get into the next audio. So again, students, for those of you who do have access to the premium version of our course, make sure to use all of those wonderful audio CDs that accompany your course, not just for the listening section, but also for the reading section. Now, do keep in mind that in the real IELTS, of course, you don't have audio for the reading section, but when you're learning, when you're studying, it is really useful. It helps your fluency, your pronunciation, your comprehension. So there's a lot of benefit, and that's why we decided to include that with the learning part of the course. So again, make sure to visit aehelp.com, sign up for that premium package, and use the course to get ready as much as possible before your upcoming exam. All right, students, we're going to go through the questions and the answers, and then we'll do this together. So let's take a look at the questions now. So here, basically, we have the two types of tigers, right? A is Bengal tigers and B is Siberian tigers. Be careful because A is a B there and B is an S there. So we have Bengals and Siberians. So let's go through these again. Number 14 lives further from the equator. And I paraphrase this. Remember, I said a greater distance from the center meridian of the Earth, the equator. So which one is this? Is this the Bengal or the Siberian tiger? Now, if you visualized it, you should have created a bit of a chart in your head. So here, what I'm talking about is you should have basically created, and you can do this in the real test where you go, okay, Bengal and Siberian. And I'm looking at the chat here for answers, students. So the Bengal tiger, where does it live? And this is the trick too, students, is you shouldn't just be like kind of guessing or quick answering, but you should actually be able to say like, okay, well, this one's fairly straightforward because the Bengal tiger lives in these countries, which are close to the center of the Earth or the center meridian. And this tiger lives further north. It lives in this region, which is clearly further away. So Tsegareta says Bengal lives in India. Yep, India. Absolutely. Bangladesh, of course, right? It's called a Bengal tiger. Alpon is like, guys, it's a Bangladesh. It's a Bengal tiger. Bangladesh. Bhutan, that's right. It's very nice. Yeah, Bhutan. And Nepal, right? Okay. Siberian tiger, clearly in Siberia, which is in Russia. Right? Okay. So here we know that the Bengal is closer to the center meridian and the Siberian is further away. So when we go back to the questions here, lives further from the equator. Which one is it? It is B, Siberian tiger, right? So this one, the answer is B, because it lives further from the equator. Okay, next one has a significantly higher population. So there are a lot more number of one type of tiger. Which one? Which one is there more of? The Bengal or the Siberian? Now, this one too, it was very visual. And here's a bonus question, everybody. So a lot of you got it. The Bengal is more. Bonus question for number 15. How much more? So how many more Bengal tigers are there than Siberian tigers? What's the multiplier? Lois says Bengal tigers were, I think, 1,800. That's right. And how many were the Siberian? Now, when you really understand a reading passage, you can answer questions like this, right? Mouse says a lot more. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, I think there were about 6 times more. Okay. So again, if I go back to conceptualizing or visualizing this, right? And I have my Bengal tiger and I have my Siberian tiger. The Bengal tigers were somewhere around 1,800. If I remember correctly, and the Siberians were somewhere around 300. So this is a multiplier of 6. And that's what you want to do. That's what active reading is. Active reading means that you're thinking about what you're reading, not just reading it. And it was somewhere right in the beginning there, right? So here it says, Bengal tigers are the most numerous of all tigers, 1,800 living in the wild. And then Siberian tigers number only 200 to 300. So there's 6 to 9 times more. And when I'm reading that, I do that math. So I think about that. I'm like, okay, that's a lot more. That's like 6 to 9 times more, right? And that's why I remember it, because I'm actively reading, right? Okay, everybody sees that? Okay. So, active reading. Number 16. Exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. So can be bigger depending on where it lives. Which one? Is it the Siberian tiger that can be bigger depending on its location, or the Bengal tiger? A or B for number 16. Large size fluctuations depending on geography. Okay. A lot of you are saying that it's a Siberian tiger. So how much is it bigger depending on where it lives? Okay, careful with the question, everybody. This doesn't say is much larger than the other one. It says exhibits size fluctuations depending, this is an important word here, on a geography. Okay, the correct answer here is actually A. It's the Bengal tiger. Now some of you are going, what? This is a perfect example of visual reading. So where you have to visualize, and I'll show you why. Okay, so remember this piece here. Read with me again. One notable observation is that the further north in the Bengal tiger's habitat, the larger the animals get. The average weight of a tiger in northern India is about 15 kilograms more than the ones in southern India, where the average recorded weight is 220 kilograms. So this means that if I'm thinking about India, I'm just going to do a very simple map of India here. Then I know that, okay, in the south, they're about 220 kilograms. And again, this is very visual, right? And then in the north, let me do it with a little bit of a better background. And then in the north, that means that they are about 235 kilograms average. Okay. Which in the animal world, I guess is considered a fairly big size fluctuation between the southern and northern parts or regions. Okay. Is everybody following me there? So it's the size fluctuation depending on geography. For the Siberian tiger, the Siberian is a bigger tiger. Yeah, it's a heavier, bigger animal, but it didn't talk about its size fluctuation, which is not surprising because with only 200 to 300 in the wild, I mean, who's to say, right? So again, you have to visualize. Students, visualization is absolutely essential for quick, accurate answers in the reading section. Does that make sense? Does everybody follow me there? Yeah, Segaretta's like, yeah, okay, that made sense. All right, so careful with the wording of the questions and with the information. So exhibits large size fluctuations depending on geography. The correct answer, A. Okay. All right, this one should be pretty quick if you're paying attention. Grows no additional fur during different seasons. Now, as I said, you want to visualize. North and South India. And the other tool in your toolbox always is logic. Okay, so you want to apply a high degree of logic. So grows no additional fur. Now, okay, thinking about this first question, number 14, further from the equator, the Siberian tiger. So the Siberian tiger is in like Siberia, right? It gets hot in the summer, really, really cold in the winter. So it makes sense that the Siberian tiger has longer fur in the winter and shorter fur in the summer, right? For that big temperature difference, right? When the tiger lives closer to the center of the earth, the temperature is basically warm all year round, so it's more stable. So here, the answer again would be A, the Bengal tiger, right? Yeah, Lewis says the Bengals have no need for long fur. Basically, they're living in summer all year round. Close to, right? Lives in a climate with large temperature fluctuations. This one, that's almost a clear answer with that first one, right? So B, A, B. Okay. Now, when you're doing the reading well and you're using correct strategies, you should actually be figuring out answers faster and faster. So, students, keep this in mind that if you're using correct strategies, okay, your answers should get faster and faster as you move along, because the information becomes clearer. Okay, just like what I showed you. So you realize, okay, one lives further north. It's going to have long fur in the winter, short in the summer. Why? There's lots of temperature differences. So you start to be able to answer all of those questions a lot faster with logic. Does that make sense? If you're answering questions slower and slower, then something is not working. Okay, so if you're doing a reading section or a reading practice at home, everybody, and you find that the more questions that you're trying to answer, the slower you're getting, you're not doing the correct reading strategy. You're not reading correctly, you're not understanding correctly, or you're not applying the correct strategy, but that shouldn't be happening. Okay, so in a perfect world, basically, you're starting slow and then you get faster and faster as you go along. Okay, so in the correct situation, you start slower in the reading to become familiar with the topic and the ideas and to visualize the content. Then you get faster and faster as your brain creates a clear narrative. Narrative means story, and image of the information. Okay, if that's not happening, you need to change what you're doing. Does that make sense, everybody? If you get what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you don't get what I'm saying, definitely watch more and more of these videos and use the premium package. Okay. Studio, sure you can as me. I wasn't born that way. I wasn't born reading or born with this logic. Sure you can. It's just a matter of practice. Okay. All right. So absolutely you can. Absolutely. The important part is doing it correctly, right? It's just like exercise. You can exercise in an incorrect way where you injure yourself, or you can exercise in a correct way where you gain health benefits. And through practice, you become better and better. Morningstar says lots of thumbs up there. Luffy gets it. Right on. Okay. All right. So let's go on to the next questions. This is a perfect example. Okay. So perfect example of a lot of students doing these questions incorrectly versus some candidates or a few candidates doing them correctly. So this is yes, no, not given. You put yes if the statement agrees with the claims of the writer. You put no if the statement is the opposite or contradicts the writer. And you put not given if it's impossible to say what the writer is thinking about this. Okay? So a lot of students, what they'll do is they'll read a question. They'll go, both animals are primarily meat eaters. And then they'll pick out a key word like meat or primarily. And then they'll start searching the text for the word meat. So they'll start skimming and scanning. They'll go, okay, where do I see the meat, or where do I see the word eating? And they start scanning and scanning and scanning. And that takes a long time, right? And it's not the correct strategy. And so there's a much simpler way to do this. Using good logic. So we're comparing some tigers here. The first question I want to ask is it important? If it's important, it's going to be given. So my first step is trying to figure out if it's given or not given. Okay. Is it given or is it not given? So I ask myself, is it important? Is it important to know about the eating habits or the eating behaviors of tigers? I'm going to say yes. I think it's very important for this passage. Okay, it's a big part of the animal's existence, what it eats. So it's given. Right? Of course it's going to be given. So now that I know that it's given, I'm going to ask another question. Is it true? Is it true that both of these tigers are going to be eating meat? And I think most people will know that cats and cat family, whether it's lions or tigers or your cat at home, they're meat eaters, right? So the answer has to be yes. Okay. And we learn that information in the passage when we read the part about the fact that they're carnivores. Now, even skimming for that is going to take me a minute here. Let's see. There's somewhere in here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here you go. All the way down here. Being carnivorous, other animals are the food supply for both. Okay, trying to skim read and skim reading all the way to here. If you're skim reading without using logic, you just wasted like 2 minutes on one question. And hopefully you figured out that this word means they eat meat, carnivorous, right? So that's the wrong way. That's the wrong strategy. Okay. So they're both carnivorous. All right, this one, the gestation period for females is about 4 years. Okay, so it means that the female tiger is pregnant for about 4 years. Is it given? So reproduction, right? Is reproduction important? So when we're talking about tigers, we're comparing tigers. Do you think the author might write something about their reproduction? So the way that they reproduce? Yes, so it has to be given, right? So it's given. And is a female pregnant for 4 years? No, that's silly. So it has to be false. So in this case, it's no. Don't write false. Write no. If you write false, you'll get it wrong. False is for a different kind of passage. This is a factual, so fact or not a fact. The female is pregnant for, I think it said 15 weeks. Okay, so the correct answer there is no. Okay, number 21. Young tigers need their mother for survival during their first half year. Okay, so again, it's about the life cycle of the tiger. Is it going to be given? Will the author write information about the life cycle? So their birth, their youth, their young adulthood, their adulthood. So the cycle of life, absolutely, right? And again, which strategy? So there's a strategy here that should make this easy where you don't have to skim and scan. What's the strategy for number 21 that should make that one a lot easier? So young tigers need their mother for survival during the first half year. What strategy should I have used, students, that we've talked about today to help with this? And again, for those of you that are not thinking right away, like, okay, this is the answer. You need to use, I don't even care if you use our course or not. Just use a good IELTS course that teaches you this information so that you can pass it. If you want to use ours, click the big red button. If you want to use something different or free, I don't care. As long as you find the same information and it's telling you to do this and giving you clear examples of how to do this, fine, just do it, because it should be clear. Okay. And in our course, in your My Student account, you'll find this in your key strategies, probably here in this part. Let me just see. Yeah, here. This is the strategy here. Yeah, Lewis knows. Lewis says critical thinking, paraphrasing, and visualization. And in this one, it is visualization, right? So, see it.
A quick reminder. Have you printed the necessary pages?
Okay, visualize the information. If we go to the passage, so again, we're on this question here, young tigers need their mother for survival, right? This is coming kind of from the end somewhere. Right here. Each of these cubs, cub is the baby tiger, weighs about 1 kilogram. Just so cute. Just imagine 1 kilogram. It's like this big. It's adorable. Who visualized that little tiny tiger when you were reading this? Did everybody see that cute, adorable little tiny little tiger? Right? Like you totally should have. Okay. Okay, you should have seen something like that. Like look at that little guy. Look, I wanna hold him and pet him and hug him. Look at him. He's adorable. I'm in tears. He's so cute. How many of you saw a cute little baby tiger like that? Who saw that face? Who saw that face? Look at those babies. Okay, I'm gonna melt here. They're not ugly. Fatima says they're ugly. How could you say that, Fatima? They're not ugly. They're adorable. Look at that. Look at that little guy. I'd totally have him as a pet until it got big and then ate me. Oh. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna be here doing that all morning. Yeah, it's like, aw. It was as cute in a week or two. Oh, they're so adorable. Anyway, visualizing, right? Like, I hope everybody saw those cute little tigers. And then it says they will be entirely dependent on their mother for their first 6 months of life. Right? Entirely dependent. Of course. I visualized that. That little tiger's not going to go out there and kill something and eat it. Right? They are carnivorous, but they're tiny. Alamada. Okay? So in this one too, young tigers need their mother for survival during their first half year. Totally dependent on their mums for the first 6 months. So it is a big yes. Okay. Yeah, Sultan says they're totally cute and adorable. Okay, one more. Well, I can't stop myself. Look at these. Just look at these guys and girls. Oh my goodness. All right. I gotta stop there. They're too much cuteness. It's cuteness overwhelming. Okay, so clearly the answer there. Visualize, everybody. Visualize. You have to visualize. Okay. All right. 22. Killing is a rite of passage which shows a cub is ready to leave their mother. That could be important. I mean, I don't, like, you know, sometimes the answer for that first question, is it important? Maybe, right? Like, it is a part of the life cycle, so it's a maybe. But here's the other question. Did you visualize it? Did you visualize a 6-month-old tiger, or a tiger of any size and age, killing to be like, Mom, I'm ready to go. Here we go. Goodbye, everybody. I can kill things. Did you visualize that? Did you visualize the tiger hunting to leave its family? I didn't. Hopefully you didn't. It wasn't anywhere in the passage. Okay. Makes sense, but I didn't see it when I read it, right? So I'm just going to go with a not given. If you're searching, if you're skimming and scanning for all these true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given questions, you will run out of time on that passage. I guarantee it. You can't do it. It's not, you just can't do it. You have to be able to do it from clear logic and visualization. Okay? Everybody with me on that? Yeah? It's important. Okay? All right. Here we go. If a mother gives birth to 1 to 4 cubs, it is common for one not to live past 6 months. Did I see those cute little baby tigers dying? Absolutely not. Thankfully. So I'm going to go with not given on that one. So these last two are not given, not given. Right? I didn't see little baby tigers dying. Ugh. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. Hesh. Get out of my head. All right. So now we go to the last piece here, which is complete each sentence with the information from the passage. Write no more than 2 words. Humans are not a part of the tiger's regular what? The way to do this, students, is to finish it on your own. Okay, because searching for this is going to be really tough. And then if you're not sure, you can go back and check. So humans are not a part of the tiger's regular what? I have an idea of what that word should be. Let's see if anybody else gets it. Alexander and Deborah both say not a part of the tiger's regular diet. Yeah, you have a regular diet. This is where collocations are good to know. Some of you probably know that, oh yeah, there's a daily diet or regular diet, common expressions, common collocations in English. Yeah, and diet is the correct word. While not common, the Bengal tigers will resort to something humans, especially if they are unable to process the flesh of other animals, will resort to, I guess, eating humans or killing humans. Now, I do remember that this one, so I don't know if the word is killing or eating or hunting, Dudin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually look, and again, visually, I remember that this was the last paragraph. Remember this here? It said one last notable difference between the 2 tigers is a significant one. Especially for humans. Neither tiger hunts humans as part of their normal diet, but one of the 2 tigers is known to be a man-eater. The Bengal tiger, under the right circumstances, will eat humans. So there you go, it's eat. Okay, so while not common, the Bengal tiger will resort to eating humans. Yikes. It's one way to go out. What happened to Uncle Jim? Got eaten by a Bengal. All right. Hopefully not. All right. And then the last one here. Attacks by Bengals are often committed in defense of the tigers. What? Now, if you've been following my visual logic here and all that I have been doing, then you probably will be able to answer this one here quite easily, because as you can imagine, it's all fun and games until you decide that it's a good idea to pick up this cute little rascal and remove him or her from this large mother tiger, and she's probably going to go, yeah, you know, this little guy, he's a bit of a nuisance on my head, but if you decide that you're going to take him, you're going to start seeing a bit more of my teeth. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So now everybody remembers what a baby tiger is called? Cub. That's right. It's a cub. So don't try to take. Oh, you'd be surprised. I bet some people have tried it. Attacks by Bengals are often committed in defense of the tiger's cub or cubs. Both are okay here. Okay. So cub or cubs. Tiger's cub, tiger's cubs. Here, plural, singular, both will work, but be careful. Sometimes it's one or the other. Okay. So be careful with those plurals and singulars. All right, I hope everybody enjoyed that passage and learning a little bit about these beautiful, beautiful animals, the tigers, the Bengal, the Siberian. I believe there are 5 different types of tigers in the wild, if I'm not mistaken. You can check into that. They're just gorgeous animals. And for lots more reading passages and lots more help with the IELTS exam, again, everybody, just do it. Just join aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. Use the materials every single day. Join the live classes. Join the premium Zoom classes that are on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm here most of the time, except keep in mind at the end of the month I will take a 1-week vacation there, which is long overdue. Have an awesome rest of your day. Again, visit the web pages. This is the course running here, and this is inside the student account. The main page will look more like this, where you will see me, and you can sign up for the premium version by clicking that big red button. For the general, it's the green background, gieltshelp.com. Thank you for the engagement, everybody. It was really good. It was great to see a lot of members joining in. Mal, Anna, Lewis, thank you. Carolina, thanks for moderating, and I hope to see everybody tomorrow for speaking, where you will get a little taste of the interactive speaking that we do on Zoom. Daily practice, regular reading, read aloud each day, if not more than at least 15 minutes, and you will improve. Much love to all of you, wherever you are in the world today. I'm Adrian, signing out from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Bye, everybody.